Today, I'm going to cover off a case study of a client that I helped purchase a 4 bedroom, 2 bath home on over 1,000 square meters, which he then turned around and developed it and then made $150,000 in less than 6 months. Before I jump into that, hi, I'm Nathan, the director of Envision Property, where I help time poor families and investors buy high quality properties across Brisbane. If you want to learn how to get ahead in purchasing a property, please make sure to subscribe. So before I jump into this, what I'm doing with these case studies are these are properties that I've purchased for clients over the last 3 years. This particular client, he was an advanced investor. He lived in Brisbane and he had a few properties, but what he found was he was quite time poor. He didn't have the time to go through, contact agents, email agents to get those really good deals that could, propel him forward. So what he done, he then jumped on board with myself. From the start, I then learned about, what he was trying to achieve. So for him, he wanted something that he could buy, it had a good rental yield, and there's also scope to subdivide it down the track. So we ended up landing in a suburb which was around 10 kilometers from the CBD. The reason why we ended up in this suburb wasn't too much about the growth. It was about the fact that these sellers really needed to sell. I sourced it off market through a property manager. So we were able to, remove a lot of the competition. This property straight from the bat was worth around $650,000. So what I done to get started was I put in an offer around $520,000. They then countered the offer and we got it under contract for $550,000. But further on down the track, because we had no buyers, I then got the building a pest inspector through. We got a massive report put together, which allowed us to negotiate a further $20,000. So we picked up this 4 bedroom, 2 bath home on over 1,000 square meters, roughly around 10 k's from the CBD for $520,000, and it was going to rent for potentially $450 per week. But at the end of the day, once we got this property, it was so cheap. The client decided to go ahead and do the subdivision. He knocked down the house and he created 2 blocks of land, which he sold each of them for around $450,000 to $430,000. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump on, I'm going to show you the area, give you a basic idea of the property. But I guess the big key takeaway from this deal that I got was that we found it off market and the seller was really distressed. If the seller wasn't distressed and we paid $650,000, it probably wouldn't have been as great. But again, this client went and sold both of the properties. If he had just kept it, that property would be worth over $1 million right now. So he could be, at least $500,000 ahead. So what I've learned as a buyer's agent is 100% just keep the property, to not sell. But I'm going to jump on. I'll show you the property and what he done with it at the end. So here we are on RP Data, my best friend. I prefer to use RP Data than Pricefinder. So as you can see, this block's already been subdivided. We picked this up for $530,000, and then he subdivided them into 2 blocks, and he sold one for $430,000 and the other one for $450,000. This area is in the north of Brisbane. It's around 10 k's from the Brisbane CBD. Perfect spot for families. A lot of high income earners live around this area, and the population is growing dramatically. There's also access to the Ferny Grove train line, where they're going to be adding in the Cross River Rail. And as an area, it's very family orientated. So we managed to pick up a really good deal and a really good suburb. And to top it off, I can't stress this enough, it was because the sellers were distressed. So because we found it off market, had no competition. And then the second part is because we negotiated a good purchase price, we went in a lot lower than what they were originally asking. We scooped it up. We then used the building and pest inspections to push it down even further. We brought that purchase price down, which that meant he got more capital growth in the future. So the reason why I like to share those tips in particularly, because a lot of investors just sort of don't go through that extra mile of jumping on and really learning how motivated are the sellers. It's a very time consuming process, but if you do that, it can literally save you tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. So just to run you through, Keperra as an area, it's still a great area to buy in the Brisbane region. It's very expensive at the moment. You're probably looking at around 800K for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath in the suburb, but there's a lot of scope for, picking up properties that have good bones where you can do renovations or you can do subdivisions, and a lot of value add potentials. With it also only being 10Ks from the CBD, it's well within all that new infrastructure that's getting put in before the Olympics. So here it is. Here's the deal that I got. This client made 150,000 net profit in less than 6 months. It's still out there. They're still out there. It's still achievable. I hope this property deal sheds some light, shares some sort of strategies, and how we could make, how you can make buying an investment property more simpler. Like, it's not to try to overcomplicate the whole situation. If you are looking to invest in the Brisbane market, feel free to reach out on my website, www.envisionproperty, where we can jump on and do a one-on-one discovery call. What I'll do in that call is I'll run you through, some of the areas I'm buying in at the moment, different strategies that you can use and just like implement them, go off and kick some goals. And, because I truly want you to be able to get a very high quality investment. Or you might turn around and be one of the small number of clients that I work with. But please don't take this and just go buy Keperra. Make sure when you buy property in Keperra, you buy at the right price. Look at the medium house price. Make sure you buy below that. Look at your rental yield and look at the properties located within Keperra. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you have any other investment questions about Brisbane, please leave them in the comments below.